Hey, Caden, where have you been for 2 years?
Joker vs. Giorno was an amazing first episode for Death Battle to return with, and definitely wasn't the episode after the returning episode that I didn't care enough to talk about. I like this matchup, though I'm not that huge on it, but then again, I won't pretend I wasn't super hyped to see such a requested idea finally come to fruition, alongside being able to annoy my friends with Persona posting, of course. And thankfully, setting my expectations high did not disappoint, not even close. There's obviously a couple flaws that stick out here and there, but not many can be found in the analysis. Now, while I don't have too much knowledge on either of these two, I dropped part 5 like 7 episodes in, and I'm only about a third through Persona 5, and by that of course I mean the Persona 5 playthrough I'm watching like any true Persona fan. Yet, despite my lack of knowledge on both, the analysis touches on pretty much everything I imagine you'd need to cover with both. Joker's maybe could have touched on a few of the Persona 5 spin-offs, and Giorno's probably should have mentioned his pals in the Passion, but otherwise, there's not much I feel needs adding. The versus coverage is also mostly good. GR and Joker's large variety of abilities were explained well, although Giorno definitely would have benefited from actually getting calcs in his, even if they wouldn't have helped him in the actual debate. As for editing, DJ unsurprisingly cooks again. While the editing isn't as notably unique compared to Omni-Man vs. Bardock, since that one had less animated media to work with, this episode still manages to bring life to the manga and still images they use. I especially love how the opening cards look in the video's intro. It makes me wish they got to be on screen for more than a single nanosecond. Another thing I have to compliment this analysis on is its music. Typically, that part of the analysis isn't very noticeable, but the tracks picked for these two work great. Giorno's especially are very nice to listen to, and are why I slightly prefer his analysis. Joker's analysis has the edge in comedy, though. Persona didn't just go 2-0 on wins, but also on cutaway gags. The social link joke is great, got quite the chuckle out of me. It's rare to see that in DB cutaways. I guess you could say.
You'll never see it coming.
The fight, meanwhile, definitely has more holes you can poke in it than the analysis, but its strengths far outweigh them. Most notably, the animation quality. I can confidently say that this is Death Battle's second best looking sprite fight. It can't beat Billcord, but hey, second place ain't bad when this is your competition. Hell, in terms of just sprites, I'd say it's superior. The custom sprites made for it are just the best we've ever gotten. Giorno's shoulders look a little weird with their points that could take an eye out, but aside from that, my god, the detail in these are incredible. Stuff like Joker's coat flaps moving separately from one another, or Arson's chains moving with it, go a long way in making the rigging look so smooth. Even GER's sprite, which only appears for about 3 seconds before it gets eviscerated, looks amazing. Additionally, there's all the amazing different art style implementations. I love the idea they do of Giorno getting all the hand-drawn segments, while Joker gets all the 3D segments. It helps enhance both series' aesthetics in the fight, while also subtly foreshadowing Joker being infinitely strong. My favorite hand-drawn portion has got to be the color switch moment. It's implemented way better here than in Tanjiro vs. Jonathan, and the colors feel so vibrant, along with Giorno just looking great in the shot.
Dude, what's your favorite Pop-Tart?
Obviously, it's the strawberry one, but there's...
That's such a basic fucking bitch answer.
All right, you want a real answer, Joey?
Yes.
The 2002 tie-in merch Pop-Tarts that came out for the Spider-Man movie.
And while Satin Isle being in 3D is awesome, the death loop looks even cooler. It's obviously not as cool of a scene, but when you have people thinking you just put actual Persona 5 footage into the fight, you know you did something right. Even aside from the direct implementations of it, they use the 3D environment of the fight to its fullest effect, letting both characters move around the environment a lot and giving us great panning shots. I especially like the shot of Arsene slashed flying towards Giorno at the start. I watched that constantly when the preview dropped, it's so good. The fight's choreography is where the cracks start appearing, however, but I want to glaze this animation for a little longer, so we'll start with the positives. Base Golden Experience, I feel, is just handled perfectly. It got to use every single one of its abilities, and they're implemented in really fun ways. In particular, the Life Punch has great build-up, and I love how it syncs with the track, and the bees returning to Joker's gun is a super fun callback. Letting Giorno fight creatively like a JoJo's character should really helps. GR isn't handled as greatly, but I still think it has mostly good stuff. No Life Beam is a bit of a shame, but I like GR actually getting physical with Joker. Both of its stand barrages look great, best we've gotten in the show, and help make it feel like a more immediate threat than just a moving goalpost. With that said, however, the singular implementation of Return to Zero isn't the greatest. I'd have much preferred to have RTZ actually reverse an attack rather than just stop Joker from walking 5 feet forward. It doesn't help much to sell the ability as unbeatable, but the shot of the multiple Jokers is very sick. I cannot deny that. This leans into my biggest issue with the animation though, that being that it feels like Joker doesn't get to do too many notable moments. The starting power exchanges are good, I like those, but while Alice and Jack Frost attacks look great, they don't have much impact and barely feel like they're actually pressuring Giorno, let alone to the point of having to bring out Requiem. I don't think Joker needed more personas in the fight or anything, 4 is a good number. Just that I wish they were given more impactful things to do, like leave a more fatal wound for Golden Experience to heal. This definitely isn't helped by the fact that Giorno bodies Joker for nearly the entire third act, up until the ending. But when that power of friendship hits, it's like all my issues just evaporate away. Kind of like, this ending is just, it's so peak. And no, it's not just because I want to bet, and when I was right, unlike those two stinky losers. Okay, well, it's like 50% that, but the other 50% still counts, alright? Now, the death loop likely could have been portrayed better. I've seen people thinking it was actually a flashback, but then again, it's Death Battle reactors, so can't expect too much there. But the fan thieves pushing Joker on and letting him break out of the death loop is a great moment in all of the best cliche ways. Followed by Kevin's amazing Satin Isle delivery, it's just so good. Speaking of which, I didn't mention earlier, but both of the VAs do a great job. Kevin gets more spotlight since Joker's lines are often more bombastic, but Kieran does a great job as Giorno as well, especially in his stand rush with GER. Back to the topic at hand, the Sinful Shell Clash is great, and the firing it has a really powerful impact to it that I love. I'm also happy GR got to actually put up a fight, even when RTZ wasn't working, culminating in a great death visually and choreographically. The last thing I want to mention fight-wise is the music, and boy we saved the best for last because this track bangs. I love the uses of both motifs in the instrumental, which Therewolf popped off on, especially for the climax with Last Surprise and the riff that plays after the Life Bunch scene. Likewise, hold on, let me Google how to say this name. Saoirse does a phenomenal job on the vocals. I hope I'm saying that right. I've seen people mistake it for an actual Persona 5 track, which I can't even blame them for since it sounds just like one. It fits so well and complements the fight greatly, even if it did completely spoil the result. Speaking of which, let's talk about that result. For such a hotly debated matchup, you definitely want a post-analysis that can live up to the hype, and I think this one mostly does. It quickly explains how without Requiem, Giorno doesn't stand a chance, albeit sugarcoating the fact a bit, but I really like how they switched to discussing Requiem. Going over how Requiem negates some of Joker's previous advantages is a really fun visual to show off how it changes the debate. My only gripe is that I think it would have definitely benefited from giving Joker multiple arguments against Return to Zero. It's not like there isn't more you can bring up, and it helps sell the result more. Not that Almighty Attacks aren't a solid argument, to be clear. They're probably the best argument against Return to Zero. But the post-analysis definitely wouldn't hurt from some extra run length. Omnidog having a longer explanation than one of the most debated matchups ever kind of stings. Also, them using Eyes of Heaven is a little silly, but it doesn't change the result regardless, so who cares? Overall, a fine explanation, just on the shorter side than what I would have expected. Heyo, Kid from the future here, just gonna clarify that this was written before Bowser came out, but pretty much everything I said was true anyways. As for the next time Bowser vs. Eggman is hype as fuck, I'm expecting that one to be in the top 10 episodes of the show. Absolutely setting my expectations high, but dude, it's Moro solo animating an episode, you know it's gonna be gas. It's a shame my goat Eggman is definitely gonna get hurt, but oh well, hopefully he'll stomp Bowser Jr. into a small brown stain before he dies. But yeah, overall, Joker vs. Giorno was very, very good. It has its flaws in the choreography department, sure, but the animation quality, score, and analysis more than make up for it. Solid 8 out of 10. But I don't know how to close out this video, so,